The Sims 4 has 25 kits now. And obviously I knew we had a lot of kits, but for some reason that 25 number is kind of shocking to me. We have more kits than we can even keep track of these days. And I get asked all the time about which kits are my favorite and which ones I think are worth buying. I have made a kit ranking video before, but we have so many more kits now that it's maybe time for an updated ranking video. Before, I just lumped all of the build and cast packs together into one video, but we have so many more kits now, and also I just know I'm gonna rank all the cast things at the very bottom compared to any build packs. I think I can be a little bit more objective if I rank them separately. Oh, and you are going to absolutely hate what I'm going to show you. So here we have a list of all of the official kit covers from the Sims 4 website, and as you can see, all of them are orange except for one. I pulled these from this page, and all of the build kits are orange, all of the cast ones are yellow, except for two. For some reason, the little campers kit is green, and the Bust the Dust kit is blue. I guess it's because they're tagging them differently. These ones are classed as architecture and decor, and these are fashion and style. But then the little campers kit is outdoor adventures, and the Bust the Dust kit is everyday activities. So I don't know if that tells us anything about future plans for kits, because in my mind, there's two categories. There's build kits and cast kits. And then I guess there's a third category of the Bust the Dust kit, because this was like the only gameplay kit that we ever got. So I'm kind of intrigued by them classing the little campers kit separately, but I've just lumped it all in with the build kits because I see it as being a build kit. It really bothers me seeing it in the context of all of these orange pictures though. Okay, so here's the categories for today. We're classing things by must-have, pretty good, okay, not worth buying, and delete. I don't really have that many strong negative opinions about kits, at least not individual kits. Like, I don't hate a kit. I more hate kits as a whole, but I do think that all of the kits have pretty decent items for the most part. I just feel like they're a little bit too expensive, but welcome to The Sims 4, everything is too expensive. Oh, okay. They're advertising Bust the Dust twice at the top of this page. They are really pushing the vacuum kit, it seems. I'm not even gonna talk about you today, but I am going to start by talking about the first build kit, the Country Kitchen Kit. So this one is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It is a kitchen set that is country themed. It's kind of cottagey vibes. It's got some really cute sort of rustic looking cabinets. They come in a lot of pretty pastel swatches. You can see here like a nice blue and some yellows, but they've got like pastel pink and purple and yellow and green. And we don't have a lot of pastels in the game, so that's kind of a win. It's got a nice flooring and a nice wallpaper and also a couple cute clutter items. I am always going to like pretty much any kitchen set that we get in The Sims 4. I feel like we're kind of lacking in kitchen cabinet sets, so anytime we get a new one, I get excited, especially when it's a full kitchen set. We've got everything in this, from cabinets to counters to appliances. There's even a sink and a shelf, and most of the kitchen sets don't really come fully decked out in this game. Think about like Island Living, we didn't even get upper cabinets in that pack. And the reason for that is because even if these kitchen cabinets look like just one item, in reality it's like 7. They have intentionally shown off all the different pieces in this screenshot. We've got like the full wall set, the corner piece, the end pieces. So each of these island pieces is a separate item in itself. So this might look like a small list, but actually this counter is 5 counters and this cabinet is 7 cabinets. So I would almost argue that this is one of the biggest and also most useful kits in The Sims 4. The problem is it's pretty similar to the kitchen set from Cottage Living. So if you have Cottage Living, you might not need this pack. They aren't the same kitchen set by any means. They look very different and they have very different swatches, but they're both very similar vibes. They're both country kitchen sets. So I guess you could also argue that if you have Cottage Living or if you have the Horse Ranch pack, this might tie in really well to those things because you can mix and match stuff from this with those packs really easily. But also, if you have those packs, you might not need this kit. I will accept any kitchen set they give me though, so I'm gonna rank Country Kitchen pretty high. I'm gonna put it in the pretty good category. And then after that, we got the Courtyard Oasis kit, and this one is a totally different vibe. It's not even so much a furniture kit as it is more of a build kit. It really doesn't have that much furniture at all. It's got a couple tables, it's got a couple chairs, but for the most part, it's like windows and doors and archways. It's got spandrels and a staircase and platform trims. It's got a lot of building items, and we don't really have any other kits that are like that in terms of build mode instead of buy mode. So if you are a builder, this is probably a good set for you. But if you're more like the average Sims player who might get builds off the gallery and maybe just prefer to redecorate their Sims bedrooms, this is probably not not for you. Honestly, it is a stunning pack. All the stuff is really beautiful, but I think part of my problem with this one is that it's just a little bit too small. I have this issue with almost every build set we get in this game because most of the time there's not enough variation in like window and door sizes to do a full house. We only got 2 windows in this pack, so it's really hard to use them across an entire large build because nothing else matches them. I need to have like 3 or 4, maybe more different window size variants to make them usable to me. Think like how the Seasons pack has a million different window sizes that all match, or like Cats and Dogs has the same thing. I just wish that we had a couple more window and door variants to fit on more wall sizes, and then I would be super happy with this pack. And that's not just a this pack problem. I complain about Realm of Magic, for example, for the same reason all the time. And I think because of that lack of variety, I don't use it that often. So for me, I'm gonna put it in not worth buying. And I don't mean that as a dig on the style or the items in the pack. It's just not big enough. It's hard for me to use it for a full giant house. Most of the kits we have are meant for like a small, very specific room purpose. Like the Industrial Loft kit and the Modern Luxe kit are just bedrooms. The Bathroom Clutter kit is just for bathrooms. So I think maybe the scope of Courtyard Oasis is just too big for the size that kits are. And that honestly might be why we haven't really gotten any other build focused kits since then. And speaking of, the Industrial Loft kit is next. This one is not my favorite kit. Honestly, it's one of my least favorite kits. It does have some interesting items. I really like this leather sofa, and I really like these ducts that it has for the ceiling, but otherwise, I don't really ever use any of these things. Same problem here. It has 1 archway and 1 window, and they don't match anything else in the game, so I never use either of those 2 things. I guess it's just really not my personal style, so I never, ever build with this. There's a couple items in here that I've never used. Like this thing, never used it. This dresser thing, never use it. There was also extremely big drama with this kit when it first came out because in the teaser photos, there was a different window than what we actually got. The teaser photos had like a rounded variant of the mosquito stuff window, and then we got this window and not the one in the teasers. So there was this whole big thing about false advertising, and they had to make that window and add it to the base game for everybody. It's kind of funny now, but it was a whole ordeal when the pack first came out. And I don't know, I just don't like this one. If I was gonna delete any of these kits, I'd probably delete this one. It's not bad, it's just the least interesting to me, and I very rarely use it. Next, we have the Blooming Rooms kit, and the Blooming Rooms kit is a weird one for me. I just wish that it was different. I really like the concept of a plant kit, but I feel like I find most of these plants to be a little bit unusable. They're kind of just doing too much. Does that make sense? Like these glass tables with the plants underneath them, I mean, come on. I never, ever use those. I'm more likely to use things like this little dog planter or these smaller planter boxes for tables. Some of the big giant ones, like this one has weird moss growing on the base of it. It makes it hard for me to use. So in theory, a plant kit would be like top of the list, one of my favorites, but in reality, this pack is kind of just fine. It wouldn't be one that I tell you to go out of your way to buy, but if you like plants and you like the stuff in it, it is cute. It's okay. And I hate that because I wish that more of the items were more everyday usable to me. Decor to the max is another example of things that are not everyday usable to me at all. This is also just really not my personal style. Honestly, I very rarely use like any of these things, and maybe it just comes from my own inability to put together a maximalist room, but this isn't really what I picture the maximalist style to be. This kind of just seems like a whole bunch of wacky stuff, and I feel like The Sims 4 has enough wacky stuff as it is. I feel like they add wild colors and patterns to everything in the game, so do you really need to buy a whole kit just of that? And with any of these, my opinions might not be yours, so you might love this. It's just hard for me to use this. I think the wallpapers and flooring are my favorite part of the whole pack. I really like this floral wallpaper. I also like the little giraffe statue, and this item is kind of cool because it's like a wainscoting wall overlay. Interestingly, here they put the overlay on top of a big glass window so it looks like a window frame. So you can use this on a window, you can use it on a wall to make fake wainscoting. It kind of just is like a paneling decor item. So that makes for an interesting addition. It's kind of a unique item in that way. But to be honest, looking back at this, I forgot that it had this table. I forgot it had this wall thing. I've never seen this divider in my life, but I also just don't use dividers. So it's not really a standout pack to me. Even the rug has swatches that I find kind of hard to use, and I use almost all of the rugs in this game. So I would rank Decor to the max pretty low. It's one of my least favorite of all the kits, which kind of sucks, but I might even put it all the way down in delete. And delete is such a mean word because I don't really really want to delete it. It's not bad. It's just comparatively, it's not my favorite. Okay, next we have the Little Campers kit, and this one is one of my favorite kits. And I think the reason is because it almost feels like a gameplay kit, even though it's mostly just a furniture pack. This one actually has quite a few gameplay items in it, which is a weird way of classing this because like all items have gameplay, kitchen items have gameplay, beds have gameplay, but this pack has a fire pit, it's got the TV, and the TV is kind of like an outdoor movie screen, so it works just like any other TV, but it also makes sense outside, unlike the other ones. It's got this whole cute kids camping outdoors vibe. It's got a swing set. This is a game table, so your Sims can play cards on it. They can play other board games. This little thing is one of those drawing tables for kids. So while none of those things add gameplay that we don't already have in other packs or in the base game, it does feel like the most cohesive set. Like with this, you can really have an outdoor hangout in your backyard, and none of the other kits really serve a purpose as well as this one does. Also, these little lights are really, really nice. I would rank this Little Campers kit pretty high. Of course, it's got a stupid green icon. That honestly kind of drags it down. But the kit itself, I like a lot. I do always forget its name. I always want to call it the Backyard Campers kit or like the Backyard kit. I always want to call the Courtyard Oasis kit the Desert Oasis kit too. I try and like mix up these two names by accident. Speaking of which, the Desert Luxe kit came out next, and the Desert Luxe kit I really liked at the time. You see, at the time, the Desert Luxe kit was free for a little bit, and I'm sorry to bring this up because if you weren't around when this happened, it's gonna hurt your feelings. But basically, this kit came out right before the Sims 4 base game became free, and so the Sims team was giving out this kit for free to anyone who already had the Sims 4 before the Sims 4 base game became free. So for a couple months there, this kit was on sale for $0, and for that reason, I like it. It's actually got some really nice items. I use the couch a lot, both indoors and outdoors, and these curtains are a complete game changer. This was the first time they ever gave us curtain panels and a curtain rod item separately, so you can kind of use the curtains on as wide of a window as you want because you can put the curtain rod in separately. So the curtains alone are kind of a reason to buy this pack. It has the same issue with these like 3 totally random window and door styles that are hard for me to use in other places because they don't always match everything else. But in general, it's got some decent stuff. The bar and the grill are cute. I like the fireplace. I liked it more when it was free. I don't know if I can put it all the way up in pretty good just because I like the curtains though. I might put it at the top of okay. Desert Luxe was also the first collab kit they did. Desert Luxe was also the first ever collab kit they did. And I'm telling you, every time they collaborate with a simmer, it ends up being really good. Simmer brain is how we get amazing items like those curtains. So I hope they keep doing more collabs in the future. The Pastel Pop kit was also a collaboration kit, and this one is one of my favorite kits of all time. It was also a collab with one of my very best friends, but even without Plumbella, I like this kit, okay? I really do. It's very cutesy, it's got a lot of fun colors and, you know, pastel vibes. I love these tile tables, and this wall art is one of my favorite ones in the whole game. We also got a new corkboard for the first time, and you can drag postcards onto it. We do have one of those in the base game, but this is the first kind of cute decorative one that we've ever gotten. It also has this really adorable strawberry wallpaper, and I use all of these things all the time in kids' rooms. This is a good example of the kind of funky colors and patterns that I prefer over the Decor to the Max kit ones, because these are also funky and colorful, but it's a little bit more usable for my everyday gameplay, and I would probably put Pastel Pop up really high. I might even put it up at must-have. If not must-have, it's like the top of the pretty good category. I might come back to that, because we are getting into like all of my favorite kits now. And next we have the Everyday Clutter kit, and this was the first Clutter kit we ever got. This is a good example of the Sims team really listening to the Sims community, because people love clutter. These sorts of little items that you can add to your Sims house to make it seem like people actually live there make a huge difference. And it might seem really small, right? Like it's a pair of glasses, it's a hat, it's a water bottle, a sticky note with pencils. I love this phone and keys item so much. It's just those little details that make a big difference for me in my builds. This kit is hard for me though, because some of the other packs feel like they have a bigger impact. Like for example, with Pastel Pop, you can make an entire room. You can't make an entire room out of a yoga mat. This is more the kind of thing that you would pepper throughout your entire house, and I use almost all of these things all the time. I'm actually gonna put it all the way up at must have because I put that stuff in every single one of my builds. And this just goes to show you what I like might be the absolute opposite of what you like. You might think this is stupid, and that's totally fine. I'm just explaining my personal preferences. Right after that, we got another clutter kit called the bathroom clutter kit, and this one, as you might expect, is all bathroom clutter. I really do like this stuff. It's kind of fun. There's like dentures, we've got toothpaste. There's some cute little details too of like an empty toothpaste tube and a full toothpaste tube. We also got a light switch, and we do have a light switch in the base game now, so you don't really need this one. But at the time, we only had these two, so that was kind of a big deal. This candle is by far my most used item out of this whole kit. It's just a plain little tiny candle, but I use this thing everywhere. Like almost every single room of my Sims houses has this candle. I cannot encourage you to buy an entire kit just because I like that candle, but I will make it known the candle is really good. I don't really bother with my Sims bathrooms that often though. Like the bathrooms aren't really a standout to me. I kind of just put whatever in there. So for that reason, it's kind of good because it encourages me to decorate the bathrooms more, but also I don't really care about bathrooms that much. So I'm kind of in between pretty good and okay, but I think I feel kind of similar about the bathroom clutter kit and the blooming rooms kit. They're good, but not a necessity to me. Now, next, we have one of my favorite kits of all time, the Greenhouse Haven kit. Now, I am coming to you as a person who uses The Sims 4 as like a farming sim at times. So this kind of thing is right up my alley. I really, really enjoy gardening and all that sort of stuff in The Sims 4. This adds no new gameplay. It purely adds a build set to make a pretend greenhouse in your game. The gameplay is that plants don't get affected by seasons when they're indoors, but you could do this with just base game windows. You could put a plant in a windowless room and it will still grow in The Sims 4. So you don't need this by any means, but these windows and doors are amazing. They have a screen swatch so you can make screened-in porches. I used these to make a courtyard in the middle of my Sims house once. They've got a cool open swatch, but also a closed swatch. This is the kind of example of the number of windows that we need to make something functional. It's got both medium and short wall height. It's got a single wide door and a double wide door. Like, you've got all of the variations that you need for this to work. This plant is my most used thing out of the whole kit, though. I put that plant everywhere. And it's got a bunch of cute little garden clutter, like this cute little watering can. It's got like some plant pots and stuff. If you enjoy having your Sims garden, this is a really fun addition. I feel kind of silly putting greenhouse as a must-have, but I really, really like it. By far, one of my favorite kits The Sims 4 has. And then we got the basement treasures kit, and this one's kind of random. It's got like basement junk in it, but kind of in a good way. It's got like a broken TV and broken chairs. There's a cracked photo of Bob and Eliza Pancakes on their wedding day, and it's got a bunch of swatches of other townies, but like from the past. So it has like the roomies household, but as children. It's kind of a cute little detail if you like Sims lore. It also has the classic heart bed from old Sims games, but like broken and leaning up against the wall. This plant used to be in The Sims 1, so this one's kind of like a sneaky little love letter to people who've been fans of The Sims for many years. Couple interesting details. Actually, both of these lights flicker if you've got them in your house, and not in like an aggressive, annoying way. It's very subtle, so it's not like distracting to you, but it's kind of a cute detail. It also has some fun stains for the floor, and I do like that sort of thing. I use that kind of thing a lot. I don't know. Basement Treasures is weird because it serves a very specific purpose. I like it. I really do like it, but it's just not a standout. Like, I could go my whole life never having this pack and be totally fine. It's cute. I like having it, but I don't need it. It is fun for building things like basements or building like abandoned spaces because there's the cracks and all that stuff, but other packs have that kind of thing. We've got rundown furniture from Werewolves. We've got cracks and stains in the floor already, so we don't really need to have this one. It's a nice addition, but it's not a necessity for me. The Book Nook kit, though, I will tell you right now, the Book Nook kit is my favorite out of all the kits ever. So this pack has modular bookshelves. You can kind of see them being used here in these screenshots. You can use these to fill an entire wall of bookshelves because they snap together and stack. And there's a few different variants. There's like a full bookshelf, there's a partially empty bookshelf, there's a completely empty bookshelf. So you can mix and match these and put decor inside of them and really make a very, very cool library, both for like an at-home library, but also maybe a public library. And they're kind of like a neutral style almost, where this could work in a more modern home, but also in an older home, depending on the swatch that you pick. You can even see a very stark difference in the style of these two screenshots, and it's the same stuff being used. There's a couple standout clutter items also with these little baskets of books. I love this stack of books, and it's actually stackable, so you could just pile that as high as you want and it keeps going. You could put like 10 together and have a floor to ceiling pile of books. The couches are cute. This rug is a very nice, neutral, usable rug for pretty much any space. For me, this book nook kit fits into literally every build I ever do. It is by far my favorite kit out of all of them. If you were going to get just one kit, I'd recommend the book nook kit. For me, it is far and away the most useful one. And then last, we have the modern Luxe kit. And this one is the most recent, obviously. It just came out a couple weeks ago. This one's got a couple standout things as well. Again, with the curtains, I would buy this entire pack just to have the curtains. You can see we've got a left panel and a right panel for both the short and medium wall heights, and it also has the middle curtain rod. That's what this little weird tiny thing is. So you can use these curtains on any size of window that you want, because you can kind of stretch it out across a wall. Most of the Sims 4 curtains are pretty unusable. These are perfect. This item might just look like a little picture frame, but actually it is a TV. It's kind of mimicking that Samsung frame TV where it's completely flat against the wall and it's got a nice frame, and when it's off you can put art up on it, but it functions like a TV, so your Sims can use that as a TV and watch TV off of it. This is a complete game changer. This is by far the best item in the whole pack. There's also a pillow clutter item, which might seem silly, but people have been asking for that kind of thing for years. And this is kind of cool because this is one of the first like actual ceiling tiles we've gotten new. We obviously got a couple in Horse Ranch because the ceiling update had just come out, but this item is sort of meant to be a ceiling paint, and we don't really have much like that in the game. The bed is cute, this chair is cute. I like this kit a lot. I think for the most part though, this sort of like glam modern Luxe style isn't really my personal style. I'm more of like a cabin person, a cottage person. Like most of my houses end up being a little bit like older seeming, so I'm kind of stuck between okay and pretty good, because I would argue that this is one of the best kits just because it's got some of the most usable items, but the style isn't my personal preference. But when I'm recommending these things to you, I'm gonna put it in pretty good, because it is definitely one of the better kits, and believe it or not, it's also a collab kit. I really hope the Sims team takes note of this, because every single time they do a collaboration kit, it ends up being one of the best ones. And the Simmers they collab with think of things that we've all been wanting for so long, like the curtains and the frame TV, and then we get them officially added into the game. So hopefully they keep doing those collabs, because it always ends up being a win for me. But that is my finished tier list. Now, a couple disclaimers. Obviously, this is just my personal preference. What I like, you might hate, and what you love, I might not care about. And with the kits especially, I really don't think that any of these are bad. I cannot say the same for other Sims packs. A lot of the stuff packs and early game packs are genuinely bad, but since all of the kits are more recent and we didn't have any come out in the Sims 4's flop era, none of them are like lacking in content. So kits by far are the most subjective Sims pack to try and rank, because we can look at like the luxury party stuff pack and compare it to the new Home Chef Hustle stuff pack, and there is one that is objectively better because Home Chef Hustle has like 4 times the amount of things in it. But none of the kits are small, none of the kits are lacking. I really think that it just comes down to what styles you like the best and how you play the Sims. Most of these fill a sort of niche purpose, so take into account your personal preference more than what I'm saying here. I tried my best to point out the most useful items in all of them, and hopefully this is helpful for you when it comes to trying to decide what kits to buy. I know a lot of folks don't buy any kits, and I don't blame you. I really wish there was a way to bundle them, because if you could get like 3 kits for $10, it would be way more worthwhile. But there, in general, this is my order of preference for all of the existing kits so far. And knowing my luck, as soon as I post this video, a new kit's gonna get announced because they just keep being released. But I think they said the next kits are early 2024 when those fan voted kits come out. So we should have a little bit of time kit free. Hopefully you enjoyed this and it was helpful for you. I have done this with all of the Sims packs, but there have been a few new ones that have released since then. Maybe I'll wait until after the next expansion pack and then do an expansion ranking video again. Let me know if I should do a create a sim kit ranking, because I care a lot less about the cast packs. I have a lot less nice things to say about them. So let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. I think delete was too harsh of a bottom category. I don't think that we need a delete category with the kits. I'm just so used to having a delete category when I rank stuff packs.